Hello dear students, welcome to the another video tutorial of parasitology, and in last lecture we have started our chapter number 5, life cycle, pathogenicity and control measures of various parasites. Okay, so we are continuing with the Plasmodium vivax, that is the malarial parasite. In part first we have seen the very general idea about the Plasmodium and its brief introduction about how it's look like and what category it is resides. Okay, so we have also seen the introduction about the what type of the disease it cause and origin of that disease, and how that word malaria is going to coin by means of the various two words, that is binomial nomenclature. Mal means the uh, meaning is the bad, and area means the air. Okay, so it is transferred by means of a vector known as the Anopheles stephensi is the female mosquito, and we know that the only female mosquitoes are going to suck blood and male are not going to bite any not going to take blood meal. Okay, so we have seen its classification of Plasmodium, that is the kingdom Protista, subkingdom Protozoa, hence known as the protozoans, and phylum Epicomplexa, family is Plasmodium, genus is Plasmodium, and species varies as the species are known in this world of the Plasmodium. So it may be vivax, it may be Plasmodium malariae, it may be Plasmodium falciparum, which is the abundant species of Plasmodium in the world, and the fourth one, which can cause malaria into the mammals or the vertebrates, known as the Plasmodium ovale or the oval. Okay, so we have seen its geographical distribution, that is how it is distributed in the world, and its species diversity in the world. Okay, so this is the map of the which is abundant species, which is Plasmodium falciparum, and which resembles some other type of the species in these regions only. Okay, so we have seen the total is the 85.3 million, and in Asia, which is our continent, in that 50.3 million uh, is located. Okay, so and we have seen the structure of Plasmodium, its initial structure of merozoite of Plasmodium species. We have seen the ultrastructure of tropozoite, the various stages which can change by this particular type of parasite in between its sexual stages or its life cycle. So we are starting Plasmodium part 2 today. So in this part we are going to focus on the life cycle of Plasmodium as well as the various type of the malaria and the malarial parasites, that are the four parasites we have seen Plasmodium which can cause the species of Plasmodium which can cause the malaria in the mammals. Okay, so let's start with the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax or the Plasmodium species. Okay, so the Plasmodium is known to infect the red blood cells or the RBCs of the mammals. We are know that, and they like the the species like the humans, birds, reptiles, and so on, which have the red blood cells in their body. So this Plasmodium species prefers to reside in between these red blood cells. Okay, so the malaria occur when the infected female Anopheles mosquito bites human begins um, or any other mammal. Okay, so Some other species of Plasmodium are very well known to spread malaria are the four species that are the Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium novesi. Okay, so the Plasmodium parasite displays a complex life cycle. Okay, so it is used in the it uses as a vector insect like mosquito, and that vector is doing to some role as a catalyst. Okay, they are going to boost, or they are going to giving the chance to these Plasmodium species to carry and transmit the disease as well as to complete their life cycle. Okay, so Plasmodium has a digenetic life cycle. It means that is the completed in man as well as the Anopheles female mosquito as a host. Okay, and the man as the final host. Okay, so in man the sexual stages are completed called schizogony, which is again divided into two subtypes that are the extroerythrocytic schizogony and the erythrocytic schizogony. The exoerythrocytic schizogony means what? The other sexual stages, or their developmental stages before they are going to enter in the erythrocyte or the RBC, that are the exoerythrocytic schizogony. And erythrocytic schizogony means what? The after entering into the RBC or the red blood cells or the corpuscles, they are going to invade and reside in between the RBC or the red blood cells. Okay, and they are using that space as their home, and they are carrying their day-to-day activity over there in that one RBC. Okay, or the in various RBCs. So that is referred as the erythrocytic schizogony. So the sexual phase of life cycle completed in the Anopheles mosquito. As we all know, the sexual phase means the gametogony, syngamy, or the sporogamy. The gametogamy means what? The two different gametes, that is the male gamete as well as the female gamete, are going to mate in the Anopheles mosquito. Okay, so after that they are going to pass some their life cycle stages, that are the syngamy as well as the sporogamy, and after that sporogamy, that particular spores are going to enter in the saliva or the its salivary glands of the mosquito, and when that mosquito is going to bite one uninfected person, that will be automatically transferred to the that uninfected person as through their saliva. Okay, so the mosquito saliva contains these spores of these particular Plasmodium species. Okay, so the Plasmodium parasite have a complex life cycle that includes three stages that are in the that are named as gametocytes, sporozoites, and the merozoites. So gametocytes are the two different gametes, male female. The sporozoites are the spores of the new Plasmodium is species that is going to reside in between the salivary glands of the mosquito, and the merozoites, that is the infective stage of this particular type of the parasite, going to invade when that particular um, infected mosquito going to bite a particular uninfected person or the mammal. Okay, so the first stage is gametocytes, that is the stage 1 of this life cycle of a Plasmodium species, that are the male gametocytes are called microgametocytes. Okay, and female gametocytes are called macrogametocytes. Okay, and they are transmitted through an anopheles mosquito during a blood meal. And the gametocytes within the mosquito develop into a sporocytes. Okay, so that gametocyte after their next developmental stage is sporozoite, and the male and the female gametocytes mate inside the gut of the mosquito, and after 15 to 18 days they form a parasite called as sporozoite. So the when this particular stage is going to come to the sporozoite, from this sporozoite this particular stage of the Plasmodium species is known as the parasite. Okay, so the second stage is sporozoites, that is the stage 2 of the life cycle of Plasmodium. When the infected mosquito feeds on human, the sporozoites are transmitted through the saliva into the bloodstream, and after that the sporozoite enter the liver cell and there are matured into schizones. Okay, so schizones are the mature stage of these particular sporozoites of Plasmodium, and later these sporozoites rupture and release merozoites. So merozoites will be the third stage. Okay, and after that ruptured schizones are going to liberate out the merozoites. Okay, so the merozoites is the third stage of the life cycle of Plasmodium. When over the next 1 or 2 weeks, okay, after the schizones, after the infection, okay, after the infection, the next 1 or 2 weeks, each schizone multiplies in order form of the several other forms known as the merozoites. Okay, that schizone is going to mature in between the 1 or 2 weeks into merozoites. So the merozoites exits from the liver. Okay, and that merozoite is going to exit from liver. Before that, these sporozoites are going to uh, schizones are going to survive in the liver of that particular mammal which are get infected by means of the Plasmodium species. So entering the they again entered into the bloodstream. Okay, they come to the liver by means of bloodstream itself, and they after that going to particular that formation of merozoite that are going to leave again that particular liver by means of bloodstream again, and they are going to enter again into bloodstream, and here they attack on the direct attack on the RBC, that are the red blood corpuscles. Okay, so that will be the final stage of this particular merozoites is going to attack on the red blood corpuscles, or also known as the erythrocytes. So the merozoites grow and multiply more while they are destroying all blood cells in that particular process. When that merozoites is growing and multiplying, okay, they are going to multiply and they are going to uh, increase their numbers in between these RBCs. Some merozoites are going to uh, reach their maturity and they are going to rupture that particular erythrocyte. Okay, and they are going to that spores are going to uh, in the bloodstream, as well as their they are going to rupture the or they are destroying the blood cells of that in that process. So the certain merozoites develop into the gametocyte. Okay, again they are going to develop into the gametocyte, that will be the first stage, and that gametocyte will be the again the male gametocyte as well as the female gametocyte. Okay, so which is later ingested into the bloodstream by the mosquito. Again that mosquito is going to bite that infected person, and that with that bloodstream, these gametocytes, that will maybe the male as well as the female, going to enter in that uninfected mosquito. Okay, suppose that mosquito is uninfected, and that is going to feed on that infected mammal which having the gametocytes of the plasmodium, and that will again sucked by this particular type of mosquito, that is anopheles female, and it again going to mate in that particular mosquito. Okay, so the when the RBCs are destroyed by these merozoites, is releases a toxin cause the bone and causes the bone shaking and chills and fever. Okay, so the bone shaking and chills, as well as the fever, that is the cold, and shivering and the fever, these are the symptoms after the rupture of these particular the RBCs. Okay, after rupturing that destroyed RBCs, or the that merozoites toxin causing the uh, bone shaking and the fever, that are the symptoms. Okay, so the extreme cold and fever are classic symptoms of the malaria in human beings. Okay, so we are going to see some symptoms also, what are the symptoms, and after that we are going to see the its pathogenicity as well as the treatment also in next part. Okay, so this is the life cycle of the Plasmodium falciparum. Plasmodium falciparum is taken, uh, that's why it is the abundant species, that's why it's taken into the example. Okay, so let's start with the down, that the female anopheles is going to suck blood from the an infected human being which is already infected. Okay, so at a bottom, right bottom, you have seen that the gametocytes of the Plasmodium falciparum, which are uh, ruptured, uh, which have destroyed the gametocytes, and that particular RBC when get destroyed, that gametocytes are going to invaginate out. Okay, and this mosquito is going to take a blood meal, and again in that mosquito. Okay, so you get focused into the in mosquito gut, that is the downside of that particular blue box, is the you can see the macrogametocyte as a female gamete and a microgametocyte as a male gamete. Okay, and the male gamete is going to replicate 3 rounds of the DNA replication and forming 8 haploid gametes. Okay, when that 8 haploid gametes are formed in the mosquito gut, okay, that is going to uh, mate with this macrogametocyte, which is female gamete, and they are going to form the zygote. After that zygote stage is going to enter in the that DNA replication is going to happen, and the after meiosis, that is the uh, again transform or into the oocyst. Okay, after the oocyst, that particular oocyst is going to ruptured in the mosquito intestine itself, and going to gather in between the salivary glands of the mosquito. Okay, and again that infected mosquito by the schizones of this particular parasite going to bite the uninfected person. Okay, so focus on the that red box on the upper side, that is the mosquito is biting the uninfected person, uh, and that the spores of the Plasmodium is going to enter into the bloodstream by means of this biting of these Anopheles female mosquito, and with that saliva of that particular um, mosquito going to enter the sporozoites of these Plasmodium species, and that sporozoites are carried by means of bloodstream to the liver, okay, where they are going to stuck and going to some uh, staying some days in between the liver, okay, and then there these sporozoites are going to uh, convert into the merozoites, and that merozoites is going to rupture, and that particular um, ruptured and going to attack on the RBC, okay. So that merozoites are going to enter in RBC, and that RBC, that various stages of that um, particular that spores going to occur, that are the ring forms or the early tropozoite forms, or that are going to feed on the hemoglobin. They are going to release some toxins in that particular RBC, okay, and after that they are going to form a schizones, okay, that are the gametes that are male or the female, okay. So two different gametes are formed after that particular stages, and that merozoites is ruptured, and they are going to release these schizones as well as the toxins into the bloodstream, and because of that toxin we are going to suffer by means of the cold, shivering, as well as the fever, okay. And again that gametocytes, that are the male gametocytes and the female gametocytes, are going to stream into the bloodstream, okay, and again the second mosquito going to bite that infected person, and this life cycle is continue, okay. So the types of the malaria and the malarial parasites. So the first type of the malarial parasite which can cause the malaria is the Plasmodium vivax. Okay, so Plasmodium vivax is distributed in tropical and the temperate zones. Okay, the incubation period of the Plasmodium vivax is the 10 days, okay. In between 10 days they can incubate uh, into the that spores and release the Plasmodium, okay. So tropozoites is ring shaped, okay, as you can see in this particular life cycle, that is the various stages of these tropozoites, that are the ring stages or the early tropozoites is going to form, okay. So the ring shaped tropozoite is occur in the Plasmodium vivax, okay, and the size of that ring shaped tropozoite is one half or the one third of the size of the erythrocytes or the RBC, okay. So the schizones feels the enlarged erythrocytes, okay. The hemozoin is yellowish color with the Schiffer's dot in that, okay. The Schiffer's dots are the red dots or the pink dots which are seen into these uh, that are the toxins, okay. So the hemozoin is the toxin which is in yellowish in color in case of the Plasmodium vivax, okay. So the one single schizones can form 12 to the 24 merozoites, okay. That one particular schizones is going to form 12 to the 24 merozoites, okay. And that merozoites or these particular plasmodium vivax after the infection can cause the disease known as the vivax malaria as well as the tertian malaria fever. And every 48 hours, these vivax malaria or these tertian malarial fever is the stages or the symptoms of this particular type of the malaria is going to again seen in that particular patient up in between the 48 hours cycle. Okay, so the second type of the malarial parasite is the Plasmodium malariae, and the Plasmodium malariae is also found in the temperate and the tropical zone. Okay, so the incubation period of the Plasmodium malariae is 27 to 37 days. Okay, the trophozoite of the Plasmodium malariae is ring shaped and it is 1/3 to the 1/2 the size of the red blood cells or the erythrocyte. Okay, and the schizones of these Plasmodium malariae fill the erythrocyte which is not enlarged. Okay, in this particular type of the Plasmodium, in case of the Plasmodium vivax, the schizont which are going to uh, infect that particular erythrocyte, that erythrocyte size is going to increase in case of the Plasmodium vivax, but in case of the Plasmodium malariae, that size of the erythrocytes is not going to enlarge. Okay, and form that particular schizont forms the 6 to the 12 merozoites. Okay, the hemozoin is dark brown in color. Okay, so in case of the Plasmodium it is yellowish in color. Okay, in case of the vivax. Okay, so in case of the malaria, that is the dark brown in color, so it don't have the Schiffner's dot, that is the Schiffner's dot are the yellow, red or the pinkish dot on the RBC. Okay, so gametocytes of the Plasmodium malariae are found with no enlargement. Okay, and it causes a quartan malaria fever, and it occur in the patient in between the 72 hours cycle. So the third malarial parasite is the Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, so it is the most abundant type in between these four type of the Plasmodium which can cause the malaria. Okay, so it is common in tropics and incubation period is 10 days. Okay, so the incubation period of this Plasmodium falciparum is the 10 days, hence it is the most successful species of the Plasmodium in between these four species which can cause malaria. Okay, so here you can see the in case of the Plasmodium malaria is 27 to 37 days is the incubation period, as well as the uh, in case of the Plasmodium vivax it has also the 10 days incubation period. Okay, so in case of the Plasmodium falciparum, the trophozoites is the ring shaped. Okay, and is it is the 1/6 or the 1/5 of the size of the erythrocyte, that is the trophozoite is smaller than the rather two uh, species which we have seen. Okay, so there are often two trophozoites in the one RBC. Okay, it may occur that the two trophozoites are seen in one particular RBC. It can also happen. Okay, so the non-enlarged schizones, that is enlargement is not going to occur of the RBC by means of these schizones. Okay, so it is 2/3 or the 3/4 of each erythrocytes, that's the size of the schizones. Okay, so the hemozoin is the black in color. Okay, after the shrinking of these erythrocyte, that hemozoin may become the greenish in color. Okay, so the Schaeffer's dot um, not present in this case of the Plasmodium falciparum. on RBCs. The schizones formed by means of these particular um, uh, schizones are the 8 to the 36 merocytes can form by means of this single schizont, okay, in the blood, okay. So it causes the malignant tertian malaria fever, okay. So this is the disease or the type of the malaria. It is the malignant tertian malaria fever. It lasts about the 24 to the 48 hours in the particular patient, okay. So this parasite causes serious infections called the black water fever, and that particular malignant tertian malaria fever is also known as the black water fever. Hence that hemozone is in the black color, okay. So in which erythrocytes are ruptured and liberated in the hemoglobin is excreted in the urine. So that liberated hemoglobin is excreted in the urine, okay. So that the some natural color of the urine is get disturbed. The natural color is the pale yellow color, so that will we get disturbed. Hence that particular disease known as the black water fever, okay. So the fourth main type which can cause malaria into the mammals is the Plasmodium ovale or the oval. You can pronounce it a different way. So it is a sporadic, that means the spores are going to liberate out, and it occurs in the tropical as well as the subtropical zones in the world. It has the 14 days incubation period, and the tropocytes of the Plasmodium ole is ring shaped, and it is one third or the one half of the RBC or the erythrocyte, okay. So each seasons of the Plasmodium ole is going to uh, give the 6 to the 12 merocytes, and that merocytes fills the 3/4 of the erythrocyte, okay, which become large and irregular in shape, okay. So that erythrocyte is going to increase their size, so it become large, and that natural shape of that erythrocyte is going to change, and it is converted into the irregular in shape, okay. So the hemozones of the Plasmodium ole is in the dark brown in the color, and it having the Schaffer's dot on the that particular RBC. So the round gametocytes fills the irregular RBC, okay, and that gametocytes is going to uh, in the blood after the rupture, okay. So the disease or the malarial type caused by the Plasmodium ole is mild tertullian malaria, okay, Titian. So it is a Tertullian, okay. So the mild Titian malaria caused by the Plasmodium ole, and it also known as the ole fever, okay, ole fever, and it lasts about 48 hours, and it again um, having the second cycle of the fever after the 48 hours, okay. So these are the the four species and the different stages of the particular species. Species are the Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, the third one is Plasmodium malariae, and the fourth one Plasmodium oval, okay. And the stages, that are the different ring stages, different tropozoid stages, different schizont stages, as well as the different gametocyte stages, okay. As you can see, in case of these particular Plasmodium falciparum, uh, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium oval with the ring stage, we are going to see ring stage first. Okay, so the different type of ring stages are going to see, and in between these different stages, uh, and in the tropozoite stage, you can see in the Plasmodium falciparum is the invade on the one side. Okay, in the Plasmodium vivax is enlargement, you can see that particular RBC. In the malaria there are some enlargement. Okay, as well as in the oval there is no enlargement of that particular RBC, as well as the Schiffer's dot you can see in this particular type of the Plasmodium malaria in the tropozoite stages. Okay, as well as the Plasmodium oval in the tropozoite stages. In schizone stage, you can see the different the gametes are going to form in the schizone stage. Okay, and that merozoites are going to leave the liver. Okay, so these are the cyst of that schizont going to have the various numbers of the schizons. Okay, and in case of the stage gametocytic stage, that is the different shape can um, occur by means of the particular type of the species of the Plasmodium. That is the in case of the falciparum, the gametocytic stage is very much different than these three species of these Plasmodium. Okay, as you can see, that is the wrong stick shaped. Okay, so these were the various different stages and these real-time pictures of the different stages of these particular species of the Plasmodium. Okay, so this slide we have seen early. This is taken again because you can better understand here. Okay, so the early stage of the tropozoites, uh, that is the species are the Plasmodium falciparum, malaria, novense. So the Plasmodium malaria is also known as the Plasmodium novense, or these two stages are common in this particular two type of the Plasmodium malaria as well as the novense. Okay, so you can see the delicate rings, the various uh, ring structures in between these Plasmodium falciparum compared to the Plasmodium malaria is compared to the Plasmodium ole as well as the Plasmodium vivax. Okay, so the various different ring stages you can see, and these pinkish dots on these RBC as well as the enlargement of that particular type of the RBCs in the different stages you can see in this picture. Okay, so that pinkish dots in the Plasmodium ole as well as the Plasmodium vivax, that are the Schiffner's dots. Okay, and the multiple infections is common while the RBC size is remain unchanged in case of the Plasmodium falciparum after the leaving after the infection with the schizons with the RBCs. Okay, and in case of the Plasmodium malaria as well as the Plasmodium novaceae, that the RBC size remain unchanged and no Schiffer's dots is going to seen in this particular type of the species. Okay, so in case of the Plasmodium ole, these thick ring forms while the RBCs contain the Schiffer's dot. Okay, so as you can see that particular dots, pinkish dots is seen in the case of the Plasmodium ole, as well as the RBC appear enlarged, and it it is gain the round or the oval shape. Okay, so the natural shape of the RBC is like the Alpenliebe chocolate. Okay, and that shape of that RBC like Alpenliebe chocolate is going to change into the round shape. Okay, so that is the enlargement of these particular RBC after the infection. Okay, and these in case of the Plasmodium vivax, you can see the thick ring forms while these RBCs contain the Schiffer's dot, that is the pinkish dots as the reddish dots are seen on the RBC, that are the Shepard's dots. Okay, and the various multiple infections, it not as common as a falciparum. Okay, so the RBC is enlarged in this case of these Plasmodium vivax infections. Okay, we are going to stop here, and in next lecture we are going to see the control measures as well as the prophylaxis, and how we can overcome by means of the disease if happen, that is the treatment of the particular Plasmodium after the infection. Okay, so we are going to stop here. Thank you guys.